there's nobody else around, I basically use my leg, and I just go, give me a yes, give me a no, and then I'll just test myself. So I'll go like this. Oh, something strong. Oh, need that one. Go through them, so I can go through boxes like that quick, you know, and then I'll go, you know, so you know,
so you take some of that.
Yeah, and then I'll look them up, and I'll go, okay, willow. What's willow? You know, I think it's feeling resentful, inflexible, or bitter, feeling that life is unfair or that one is a victim.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And I can relate to that in different relationships. You know, I've been going through a bit of shit in different areas, you know. On a multitude of things, you know. Between governments and, you know what I mean, personal relationships and all sorts of stuff. So, positive qualities: acceptance, forgiveness, taking responsibility for one's life situation, and flowing with life. You know, and you can go right into it, you know, and with this book, I love their descriptions. It's like a psychological analysis, you know, and it's like a mirror being put at you, and to clear, you know, that mirror is going to clear your inner consciousness. So it says, if the physical body does not keep flexible, it becomes stiff and contracted. So you think about that from a massage point of view too, you know, like flower essences can be really good like that. Even the dandelion flower essence is for tight muscles, but it's to do with the mind as well. Mind, you know, so these can be really well used with a massage therapy as well. The good health of the soul also depends on its ability to be yielding, flowing, and forgiving. The willow flower essence heals bitterness and resentment. It is for those who tend to hold on and become attached to negative emotions. Such persons often feel victimized by the circumstances of life. They feel that others are to blame for their misfortune, that life has been unfair to them, or they resent those who appear to have more status, prosperity, or felicity than themselves. So you can see there it treats different conditions too. It's not all just the one, you know. The aging process is especially difficult for willow types. I mean, I got my 50th birthday coming up in a week, you know. At an energetic level, such persons are unable to flow with the streaming of their lives. Negative feelings are dammed up and then become magnified and internalized, congesting the inner being. Physical body also suffers from this stress, tending to manifest such problems as stiff joints, rheumatism, arthritis, and other aches and pains. It's interesting to note that willow bark is the herbal precursor of aspirin and is used particularly for such physical conditions. Willow restores a more spring-like disposition, helping the soul to respond with greater resilience and inward mobility to challenges and problems. In this way, the self takes more responsibility for its condition and learns to flow more gently and gracefully with rather than against the flow of life. I can identify with that, even if it's not that comfortable for me to admit it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was talking about earlier. Sometimes, you know, if you get one that comes up like, you know, for pride or, you know what I mean, or you're being overbearing or something like that, it's sort of like, you don't want to admit it, you know, but somewhere deep inside yourself, you kind of go, yeah, okay, you know, or you realize that somebody's been telling you that, you know. So we'll test the next box for me. So I find it great, you know, that this is just, you know, like whenever I'm feeling really out of balance, or if I'm starting to feel like, you know, I'm not feeling good, you know what I mean? I'm not feeling like really clear and just, you know, then I'm going, okay, time to hit the flower essences, you know? So many people instead, they'll hit drugs, you know. These are like a drug, but they're different, you know, whatever the word drug means. So I got chestnut bud, you know? Yeah, you do. Can you do that?
So you go, yes.
First, give me a yes. Get your yeah. Give me a yes. Give me a no.
And then, it's kind of a coordination thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
This seems to be stronger.
And sometimes, you know, it can be affected by the person muscle testing you when you know. It takes a while. Look, that's a more it takes a while to get used to doing that. Once you're used to it,
it's like when you start to get a taste of moving energy and chi and stuff.
That's right.
Okay, that's what's going on.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily totally, you know, but people can use, like I say, a repertoire, or they can use. Some people use a what do they call it, like a pendulum, and they do that kind of thing where they diagnose like that. You know, I can do that, but I'm not as good at that. You know. This is something my wife would probably, you know, definitely agree with here. Patterns of imbalance, poor observation of life, failure to learn from experience, and repeating mistakes, you know. I think I've heard her tell me that. So positive qualities: learning the lessons of life experience, understanding the laws of karma and wisdom. 3 of the chestnut remedies, chestnut bud, red chestnut, and white chestnut, address obsessive compulsive behavior in the personality. Chestnut bud is used to help break free of overly repetitive and habitual patterns which retard the soul's full development. It is indicated when there is a constant repetition of life experience without the ability of the soul to glean wisdom and insight. Chestnut bud particularly stimulates the cognitive capacity so that the individual is able to grasp more completely and more rapidly the essential nature of the experience at hand and learn the appropriate lessons. In this way, the individual is freed from the compulsive need to repeat mistakes and recreate regressive patterns. This remedy is obviously helpful in many learning situations and is also useful in a broader way when the soul needs to break through deeply resistant karmic patterns. So, I don't know exactly what that's relating to, but it could be a number of aspects of my personality that are stagnant or, And in a sense, I can analyze it all I want, but I just take the remedy,
Right.
Sometimes you don't even realize what's going on. It depends on how conscious you are of your unconsciousness or your unconscious activities, and sometimes you just go, no, that's not me. Just like with massage, a lot of people, you massage them and they're like, oh, I'm not angry.
Right, and then it comes up and they get mad at you for pushing that spot.
That's right,
and it's
right.
Like, why are you being so hard on that area?
That's
You're not
right.
even really pushing, and there's just stuff coming up.
That's right, but they've been in denial.
Like, this shooting's not a good thing.
That's right.
Storm out or something.
Can you pass me a couple of these other boxes? Let's see what I had a feeling I would come up with a few today because I knew I'm like, don't feel that clear. I feel all right, but I feel like what's going on. So you can see how quick it is,
Yeah,
I'll put them back.
Let's reverse the process back to the box.
See, I test individually, and I get that one. And I can do a whole lot and then read about them. Menzies Banksia, that's a beautiful Banksia. I was telling you how we're trying to grow some Banksias on this property. There's a whole lot of different types of Banksias. Yeah, that one. And you can see how, like, if I'm doing it like this, I'm not reading the labels and trying to, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I call it a blind way of doing it. Like they talk about double-blind studies and stuff.
That box there, was it?
Yeah. Coming up with a few more than you, I think. All right. I knew it. We've also had a busy time lately, just traveling halfway around the world, all these different places and people, renovating 2 houses and, having a 1-year-old. Renovating a course, yeah. Yeah, it's been busy. Again, here you can see, clearly can't see any difference between the bottles.
You can't see the labels.
Don't even know which ones I'm getting, so it just doesn't bring my... We all like to kind of see it.
Yeah, we did that.
I don't think we did that one, did we?
I think we did.
Okay. Yeah. We'll do it again. We did that one.
I think we did this one.
And then I'll test yours that you got and see if I need it the same. No. So yeah, I got me a nice little collection.
Yeah.
Here.
There you
go. And then I can just sort of take my time and go through it and go, okay. They were talking about, I got different chestnut before, or I got white chestnut. Yeah, there's and I got chestnut bud. So there's,
Right,
you got that.
I had the greens and I had the same flower.
Yeah.
The purple and the white.
Yeah. So again, chestnut bud dealing with something to do with, or did I read that? I think I read that one before. Or was bit similar to white chestnut. Oh yeah, so white chestnut, it's patterns of imbalance, worrisome, repetitive thoughts, chattering mind. I get that. Positive qualities, inner quiet, calm, and clear mind. Yeah, I had a lot on my mind lately, so yeah, and a bit of worry, a bit of constant, you know. And then I can read all about it. Again, I love the descriptions, you know. It's just really, it's just such a nice way to look and go, okay, yeah, that's what's going through, and to know that there's a remedy to help with that, you know. So that's those three, and then I can go through some of these. Some of these are going to be in this book, and some of them are research essences. I sort of got a pretty good feel because I've been doing it a while. And then obviously I got a bloody essay here about what's going on, you know, for me. And undoubtedly, it's going to be accurate. Whether I you know, want that to be who I am, or you know what I mean. It's just that is what it is. You know what I mean. You know, love lies bleeding there, intensification of pain and suffering due to isolation, profound melancholia due to the over-personalization of one's pain. Positive qualities, transcendent consciousness, the ability to move beyond personal pain, suffering, or mental anguish by finding larger transpersonal meaning in such suffering, compassionate awareness of and attention to the meaning of pain or suffering. So yeah, I've actually been going through a little bit of that, feeling a bit isolated in some ways.
It's almost like, even if you don't take the essences, you're just having a wake-up call.
That's right.
Some stuff going on.
That's it. That's it. It's kind of like, this is your body. It's nobody else telling you. It's it's your own. Once you get that feeling for the kinesiology, and you get that feeling for your own chi, it's nobody else telling you this. It's you, your higher self, or you telling you that you need this. You know, so yeah, that's half the remedy. Just like with psychological counseling, that's all they're doing, right? Is talking. This is talking to you. And it's nobody else coming at you and think their thoughts interspersing and kind of going, oh, this is what I think is going on for you, because they could be wrong. Whereas this is like, it's not wrong. It's your body's told you that. This could be slightly wrong, the interpretation, or it might not completely suit you. That's possible.
So you see the consistencies.
Yeah. I think I like these guys. There's some people's descriptions about flower essences I'm not as into. Like I've seen them online, and they're a bit kind of too new age for me, or they're too, you know, some guy just channeled this. There's no, and I'm not as into that sometimes. Although they could be right. They could be right. Ian White talks about channeling stuff from his flower essences and things, and I find his stuff pretty accurate in terms of testing. And you go, yeah, that's what I'm going through. But some people are a bit too new age for me, or they're a bit too. That's why I like the California Flower Essence Society, and I like the Western Australian Living Forest. They're really, their descriptions are just really nice and really accurate, and it's something you can relate to. It's not all airy fairy or anything like that, you know. So,
all right, so we can brew these up.
We'll make some essences, yeah. Contrasting colors of flowers is really nice as well. Got the yellow in the background and these beautiful red colored camellias. Another good thing about having a garden is all the birds that you get. So there's a rainbow lorikeet on a golden grevillea. It's very cute. There was two, just got chased away. One got chased away by another bird. This is a beautiful plant. Pink lollipop grevilleas. I love the contrast of the kangaroo paws, the pink, and then with the yellow wattle. And then, of course, the baby.